Release the Kraken!
Greetings, fellow game designers. Ron here at Lame Duck Studios. And in this tutorial, we're going to go ahead and look at doing pop-up text. Now, there are a few different ways of doing it, and I'm actually going to cover the two types that I know of in Unreal. The first is going to be doing pop-up text using widgets, and then the second is going to be using an actor. So, if you look here, you'll see I have a few actors. And these ones create the text using a widget, and you can see it pops up in the screen. And it still looks like it's in front of the character, but it will always appear relative to the actor that's in there. The other type is using an actor that has a render target or a text render on it, like this guy here. And if I run this as a simulation, the text will move up and disappear. Okay. The first one to look at is using the widget. Now, I did do this tutorial earlier. I'm trying to experiment with the capture software, recording me at the same time I'm recording the work, seeing how that's going to play out. And the recording software actually didn't save, so I have to do this again. So I'm sad. But that being said, I'm going to go over to my tutorial folder, and I'm going to delete these because, well, I have to do them again. Now that's out of the way, let's go ahead and create our first piece. So we're going to do our widget. I'm going to go ahead and right click, come down to User Interface, and Widget Blueprint. I'm going to call this Text Widget for tutorial. Let's go ahead and open that up. Now this method using a widget is actually pretty common. It's the one that I see the most throughout everything that I've looked over. The method we're going to use here actually is from a gentleman named Joseph Sandman, who has a tutorial series on YouTube. I'm going to use a variation of his method, but this is kind of like that. I'm going to make some changes because, well, some things I saw were kind of unnecessary. So the first thing is the canvas panel. Usually we use this for mapping out the screen and everything, but we actually don't need the canvas panel for this type of animation, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. In a lot of animations, or a lot of tutorials like this, you'll see them add a size box or some sort of container for the text, but we don't need that either. The text itself is its own container, so I'm going to go ahead and drag that in. And you see that pops in here. To make sure that we size up on it, I'm going to go over to the right and change my drop-down menu from full screen to desired, and that'll size up to the size of the text. Okay, I'm not going to put anything in the text, but I will name the text box. This is going to be pop-up text. And then I'm going to come over to the side over here. I'm going to select my text, and then down here I'm going to add an animation. So go ahead and click that. I'm going to call this, I don't know, whatever you want to name it. I'm going to call this move and fade text. Now you can do two separate animations, but I'm actually going to do both animations in one, just to kind of save on time. So here's the animation. Come over, you could add a track, but we actually don't need to. The easiest way to do it is to select your text, and then add a keyframe off of your attributes over to the right. So the first one I'm going to set is the movement. So I'm going to come down to translation. So render and transform, and then translation, which just means to move. And right next to that we have a little toggle for adding a keyframe. Go ahead and hit that. Make sure we're at 0 on our timeline. So first key, we're at 0, 0, and 0. For the second key, I'm going to go ahead and drag this red slider to however long I want my text to float. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to 2 seconds. Come over to my translation, and then however high I want it to go. So this is up to you. I'm going to do negative numbers are up, positive numbers are down in this case. So minus 150. And then I'll press the key again. And now I have an animation. If I hit the play button, this is what we get. Next, let's go ahead and do the opacity. So I'm going to drag this slider back down to 0. I'm going to scroll up to my appearance. And that will drop down. You can change your color here if you like. For the opacity, I want it to be visible when it first starts. So at 0, it's going to be at 1. I'll hit the key. Let's go all the way over to 2 seconds. And that here is going to be invisible, so I'm going to set to 0. And then keep. Go ahead and play back just to make sure it works. Hey, fancy. Let's go over to the graph. And then in here, we are going to make some changes. Go ahead and drag this up. From our event construct, we're just going to set the initial alignment. So set alignment in viewport. Now what alignment does is it positions it on the screen, so if it's a certain width, no matter how wide it is, you can set it, to whatever. I'm going to set mine to 0.5, so no matter what, it's always going to be in the middle. And then up and down, I'm also going to do that as 0.5, so that's also going to be in the middle. Again, you can set this however you like. From there, let's go ahead and set position in viewport. So set position in viewport. Now I'm doing this here so that we can avoid some popping later on. If you don't do this here, your text will spawn somewhere else and then teleport. And when we don't want that, we want it to always be at the correct location. So we have that. For our position, we're going to get that from our world location. So we're going to do convert. And if we hit the context sensitivity, we're going to check that. And come down, and we're doing convert world location to screen location. I'm going to plug that into the position. And then for the target, that's going to be our player controller. So get player. The location in the world is going to be relative to the actor we're spawning from. So like if you're hitting, with a sword and you hit somebody, the damage text that floats off comes from the character you hit. So we're going to do get actor location. And then the actor we're going to get is actually going to be a variable. So I'm going to pull this off. We're going to do context sensitivity. We'll do promote to variable. This variable will be an actor type, as you can see here. I'm going to call this actor to receive text. And then I want to make sure that this is visible wherever I'm going to call it from. So I'm going to go ahead and poke the eyeball. And then down here, we are going to, sorry, my mic is in the way, so I can't quite see. We're going to go ahead and hit expose on spawn. That way it's also available in other blueprints. Okay, get that one. I'm also going to create another variable. I'm going to call this one animation length. I'll make this a float value. And I will also make this available, so hook that one and then expose on spawn. Compile it so I can get this variable value. And this is going to be however long the animation is. My animation is currently running at 2 seconds. So that's just going to go in here. Oops, lost it. But this is so you can change that whenever you like. I'm going to drag this in. And for this, we're going to use a delay. So I'm going to go ahead and drag a delay. Plug that in. And then off the delay, we're going to remove from parent. So this is going to get it to pop up into the correct position. But we also want the text to update its position all the time in the world. So I want to take this, Control W, bring that down here. I'll get my tick. And I'm just going to plug tick into set position in world. And I will use this same wire here for my position. So that will do that. Go ahead and compile it. I'm going to right click. I'm going to create an actor. So blueprint class actor. This is going to be actor to receive text. Let's go ahead and create something to put in here. I'm going to do a collision sphere. So collision, I'll do a sphere. And I'll put an object in here. Let's make a sphere as well. I'll make it small enough. You know, there's nothing to sphere except sphere itself. I'm also going to make the collision boundary visible in game. So I'm going to come down to hidden in game. I'll uncheck that. That way it's easier to see. Go to the graph here. So we're going to do this whenever we have an overlap. We're going to spawn the widget. So go ahead and pull that off. Create widget. The widget we're going to create is the text widget tutorial. You can see when that comes in here, it has the actor and the variable that we created. Since we have that set to expose on spawn, it popped in here. Now the actor to receive text is the actor we're in, so we're going to go ahead and get a reference to self. Then set this to the viewport, so add to viewport. Once that's added, we can go ahead and do the animation. So pull off of here, do play animation. I'll double click the line just to kind of clean this up a little bit. And then I'll do off of this one. We want to call our animation to play. We called that, what was it, text move and fade. So get move and fade text. And that'll be the animation to play. And with that, it should work. Go ahead and compile it. Let's see, I'll add this to the world here. Let's make it big enough. Play it. And if I step on here, there's our text. So that is a very quick and dirty way of having pop-up text on a character or an actor that you could use as for damage or whatever. It could be a sign. You could walk up, the text appears and says, hey, you know, this is sign so-and-so. You can put a box behind it so you have a little text box and it's readable. Any of those reasons. All right. And the next one, we're going to look at how to do this using a render component inside of an actor. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close this one up here, and I will see you in the next one. Hey guys, thanks for checking out my channel. Misty and I both thank you. If you've enjoyed the video you just watched, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Also, if you have any comments or suggestions for future videos, make sure you leave them down in the comments. I upload new content every Sunday, and I release content every Wednesday. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, I do have a Patreon. Get content early. I also have official merch, Lame Duck Studio merch. It does exist. They do exist. So make sure you stick around for anything new, and I will see you next time.